Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining. Well, we're looking at the top 10 Mandela Effects of all times. If you're new to the Mandela Effect, put simply, it's when you have a vivid memory of things being one way, but they're no longer the way you remember. But here's the paradox. When you research to see when these changes occurred, it appears they were never the way you remember them being. Even if you're 100% sure they were that way, they simply appear to have never existed the way that matches your memories. You're left with only a memory, with many others that share that same memory. Now, sometimes there's residual evidence to support your memories, but not always. The so-called professionals will tell you you're just misremembering the same exact memories of everyone else, because they, like many others, can't wrap their head around the fact that reality is changing in a seemingly impossible way. Keep in mind, not everyone sees every single change. You may only see one of these 10 as being changed. You may swear the other 9 are the way they've always been. Just know this is an individual experience, and this is only scratching the surface of what's really going on in our reality. Just because you don't see one thing as being changed, as being valid, doesn't mean this isn't happening. These changes in our reality number in the tens of thousands, affecting every aspect of our lives. So this top 10 is only a very small sample of some of the various categories that have been affected. If you are able to recognize a change, be happy. It's mind-boggling, no doubt. But these changes are pointing to a very fundamental transition that's already underway. Number 10, the Monopoly Man. Many people remember the Monopoly Man as having a monocle. And this one has lots of residue. We've had it displayed in movies.
You must be the Monopoly guy.
In costumes.
Monopoly Man.
The way this phenomenon works, you can go pull out your old dusty Monopoly game board that you had as a kid that you remember having the monocle in it, and you will be surprised to see the monocle is no longer there. It's as if it never existed. And that's the strange thing about this phenomenon. Things are changing in a seemingly impossible way. Number 9. I remember as a teenager hearing the song Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And someone told me the line in the song that says, City of Angels, was referring to Los Angeles, which in Spanish is the Angels, the City of Angels. You'll find artists on YouTube performing this song, and they'll sing City of Angels, as the original song used to say.
The City of Angels, City of Angels.
Being that I have this anchor memory of learning what the City of Angels was referring to, Los Angeles, I know for a fact this song used to say City of Angels, but this is no longer the case. It now sings City of Angels.
City of Angels.
And it appears to have always been that way. Number 8, the Berenstain Bears. People might know it as the Berenstain Bears, the Berenstain Bears. Many people read these books, watched the videos when they were kids, and they remember very clearly being the Berenstein or Berenstain Bears. But now it appears to have always been the Berenstain Bears. That's right, the Berenstain Bears. Did you read these books as a kid? Did you read them to your kids? Did you watch the videos, cartoons? How do you remember them being? Because many people know, without a shadow of a doubt, it was the Berenstein Bears. But this reality looks as if it's always been the Berenstain Bears. Number 7. Many of us know about the department store, JCPenny. Have you noticed anything funny about JCPenny lately? This one has a lot of interesting residue. You can find proof in newspapers and everything that it was at one time spelled JCPenny, P-E-N-N-Y. But now, in this current reality, it appears to have always been spelled like this. Yes, every mall. And the funny thing is, the way this phenomenon works is when something changes, it changes in everything it's ever appeared in. Almost. There is some residue at times. But look here in Back to the Future. Now, I remember watching this as a kid, and JCPenney in the background was spelled the right way. But now, dig out your old DVDs and you will find that it's even changed in the video. It's now JCPenney. Number 6, Looney Tunes. Now, I remember being a little kid and thinking about how clever it was that Looney Tunes took the word cartoons, the ending of it, and came up with Looney Tunes. But in this reality, it appears to have always been toons, spelled T-U-N-E-S, as in music or frequency. There's even a Roku channel still named the Looney Tunes Network, where the description of the network still spells Looney Tunes the way many of us remember, although it appears that it's always been spelled Looney Tunes with a T-U-N-E-S. What do you remember? Number 5, Isaiah 11:6. Now you can actually Google Isaiah 11:6 to bring up paintings of the lion lying down with the lamb. Although the scripture appears to read, "The wolf shall dwell with the lamb." What do you remember? We've got old movies where they quote the scripture.
The lion shall lie down with the
We had
lamb.
shows where Jesus quotes the scripture.
The lion will lie down with the lamb.
Yet it appears to have always been, "The wolf too shall dwell with the lamb." Number 4, Rodin's thinker statue. I actually had one of these as a kid, a little small desk-sized replica, and the fist was to the forehead. I remember it like yesterday. Although that version of the statue appears to have never existed. Now, Rodin's thinker statue in the change has some of the most interesting residue. Not only do we have Will Ferrell on Saturday Night Live, who remembers the way it was.
All right, well, I got 2 poses to choose from. The thinker or the stinker.
And the famous bodybuilding pose called the thinker. But we also have many images available where people are posing next to the statue with their fist to their forehead, yet the statue no longer looks that way. Are they all misremembering from the time it takes to look up and mimic the statue to the time it takes to pose? Something to think about there. Number 3, the JFK Assassination. No worries, we're not showing anything here. But how do you remember that famous Zapruder film looking? Because many people remember it being black and white, having 4 occupants in the car, and the First Lady, Jackie Kennedy, was the only woman in the car. But now in this reality, it appears that there are 2 ladies in the car and 6 occupants in a stretched limo. And the Zapruder film is now in color. How is this even possible? This has some of the most interesting residue. For one, the Secret Service reenacted the events of the JFK Assassination Day in Dealey Plaza and used a 4-seater car. The JFK Museum itself features a 4-seater car. Why would they spend so much time putting this all together only to use the wrong type of car? Because at one point, the cars matched. But that's simply not the case anymore. So what do you remember? Number 2, Forrest Gump. One of the most famous lines in this movie was, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get," right? Is that how you remember it? Because apparently that line never appeared in the movie that way. Now it appeared this way.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Life was like a box of chocolates. Is that what you remember? Some behind-the-scenes footage shows Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump reciting the line the way we all remember it.
My mom always said that life is like a box of chocolates.
But this isn't the footage that was in the movie. Pull out your old DVD and check it out, because it appears to have always said life was like a box of chocolates. And in the number 1 spot, we have Star Wars and the famous line by Darth Vader, "Luke, I am your father." But that line appears to have never been that way. Now he says,
"No, I am your father."
"No, I am your father."
Say what?
Even though this one has some interesting residue.
I first saw the dialogue that said, Luke, I am your father.
Luke, I am your father.
People who don't see the changes say this is why people are confused about it. But how can so many people get it wrong in the same wrong way? So that's going to round out our top 10 Mandela effects of all times. Be sure to check out the end screen. We're going to have some other top 10s. Check out the top 10 playlist, and I think you will enjoy it. Please like, share, and subscribe and help get the word out about this Mandela effect, because it's pointing to something much deeper than the changes themselves. Until next time, have a good one.